Yeah, we on Boss Talk 101. Yeah, we gon' talk, we gon' have fun. We be on fire, we be lit. It's a unique hustle. Big.
Check it. This is a unique hustle. It's your boy ECO, and I'm here with the lovely, amazing, official Mr. Maker. What's going on?
Nothing. You know my deal. Well, go on. I want y'all to stop what you're doing right now. Go like, subscribe, follow us on all social media platforms. When I mean all, I mean our Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, you name it. We're on it. Just Google us. Boss Talk Podcast 101. We pop up first in line. I guarantee you. But y'all see us on the street and be like, man, I love what y'all doing. Keep up the good work. How can we support the brand? This is how you can support the brand. Under each and every video on our YouTube channel below right here, there's a link that says join our membership. Click that link, follow all instructions, because y'all be like, where's this video? Where's that video? That's where that video is. You have to be an exclusive member to be a part of this click, okay? But thank you in advance, and we love you.
Man, check it, man. We got a guy here today, y'all. He don't need no introduction. He down here, you know, just gonna make y'all laugh just a little bit. No, nigga, it's hilarious by what he about to do to y'all, man. This guy right here, man, Flores is in the building. He not playing no games.
What up, man? Appreciate y'all having me, man. I'm happy to be here, man. Happy to be here, Boss Talk in Dallas, Texas, man. One of my favorite cities in the world.
Man, listen, man. You done did so many damn podcasts. I don't even know how to start. Let me just try to figure this out, how I can make mine better than everybody else's intro.
Already is, I feel like. You feel me?
First of all, before I get into all of this, I gotta ask you, what is your ethnicity? Because you look like you mixed with.
Nigga, boss talk hat.
I be like, you look like you mixed with either Asian or Samoan or something like that.
I'm Mexican, full Mexican.
Full Mexican.
Born in Chicago, Illinois. Mexican. Yeah, but no, I don't know why I look like that. I mean,
how many people ask you that though?
Oh, every day, not a day. Sometimes I be lying. I'm like, yeah, I'm Hawaiian and shit.
Yeah, because you be looking like it.
Yeah, then they be asking from where. I'm like, oh shit, I don't know.
That nigga be high. Don't try to play us.
But yeah, Mexican, full Mexican. Yeah. I speak fluent Spanish, and yeah, but I'm not Asian at all though.
Have you ever been to Hawaii before?
Nah, not yet.
You should go. You fit right in.
People tell me I look just like them. Samoan, you know.
Exactly.
I would like to one day, shit.
But so you born and raised in Chicago?
Yeah, Chicago and Aurora, Illinois. Also, I was outside suburb.
Okay, what was it like growing? Cause every time when I hear about Chicago, I hear about the gangs, the violence, the this, the that. What was it like in your neighborhood?
I grew up on the north side, Humboldt Park area when I was younger, and I mean it was I was too young to like be in that life, so I wasn't really in the streets like that, so I can't lie about that. But it was definitely crazy, you know. Police
but it was
outside.
Around you though.
No, yeah, 100% was around us. The first house I lived in was on Wabansi and Tallman, and that was on the show Gangland a couple times.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that was pretty. I mean, for me it was cool at the time.
Did you
know?
like, oh, I know that house.
Yeah, that's where I used to live, you know.
Wow.
But yeah, as the years went on, the north side got gentrified, so kind of like the crime went down a little bit, opposed to like the south side. You know, when like drill music came out, Chief Keef started getting hot, it kind of like it did boost like the crime rate a little bit, and it got crazy. I mean, it still is crazy. People are still dealing with the consequences. Lil Durk just got locked up over some shit, you know.
Yeah, we gonna get into that, but I want to ask you about this lie you just told, because I heard you was outside at 7 years old out of your mouth that your chain got snatched and all kind of stuff. So let's just be real, man. On the north side, was you outside that early in age?
Oh yeah, I know. You know what? I don't know if you made that shit up.
No, this is what I heard you say.
When I was a young baby, I was just sitting on the porch outside, like not outside. I was just sitting on the porch. Some dude, we had a wire fence. Some dude just opened it, took my shit, and walked away. I walked back inside. I didn't even know what the fuck happened. I just felt like my neck was hurting, but yeah, they took my shit right in front of me.
Your drain must have been nice and big.
It was little, man. It was little. That shit would feel like a dog collar, man. Like I don't even know how he saw it.
You was in the streets, nigga. They got you. You was outside, man.
That's why I had to move out.
So were you raised with your mom and dad in the same household?
Yeah. My mom and my dad in the same household. Yeah, they still together now.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Cause you know that's rare, right? But in the Hispanic culture, is that rare? Cause you know in the black community, you don't have a lot of people being raised by their mom and dad together.
It's definitely not rare. You know, I think it's very similar. I was just lucky, fortunate enough, you know, to have both my parents. But yeah, of course, okay. I got my. You know, sometimes it's not. Sometimes people get deported. Like I got an uncle who got deported, so my little cousins, they grew up, you know, without their father. So I mean, yeah, definitely different reasons or whatever, but it is very common in the Hispanic community
to have your mom and dad there.
Yeah, you know, like I feel like Mexico's very like old school like culture. Like you have to stick together, even though y'all beat the shit out of each other every day. Y'all gotta stay together, you know. But
do they get married though, or do they usually just live together?
Yeah, I think like the thing about Latino culture is like when you move in with somebody, you married already. Like when I first got my first apartment, I had a roommate, you know, my boy, and my dad thought I was gay. He's like, oh no, he married to a guy already. He moved out, he's married. So I don't think they like the marriage is like the marriage just means you live with somebody and you married now. I think my parents never even got married at all. You know?
Okay.
Wait a damn minute, man. Y'all, they shack for how long?
They've been together now almost 30 years now.
And they've been shacking for 30 years? That's a long time. You know what shacking is? That means you ain't married and you together.
My dad just got to make sure he's talking to the right one.
How many siblings you have?
I got a younger sister and a younger brother. So
okay, so you the first.
Yeah, I'm the first one, the oldest one.
Okay.
Let's talk about the fact that you also said, like I said, these are your words out your mouth. You said that your mom went to jail.
Yeah.
And got deported. Let's talk about that. And how old was you?
I was young, man. I was probably only like 5-6 years old. She got it was actually in Texas. I'm not sure the exact city, maybe McAllen, but yeah, she the first time she came over here was when I was born. So in 1995, she came over here. I was born in 1996. Then around 2001, they went back to Mexico. Their plan was to never come back to the U.S. They were going to stay in Mexico, and as they were there, my mom got pregnant again with my younger sister. So then, you know, as she getting closer to giving birth, she's like, "Fuck, I don't want to have her here. Actually, let me have her up in the United States." You know.
Right.
So as she was coming up, she was using a fake somebody else's visa or whatever, and they caught her with it, and then she got sent back. And then that same week, she didn't even go back to her hometown. She just stayed on the border town. And that same week, she went back and tried again, and they caught her again. So that time, they locked her up, and she had to stay.
So did she have the baby in jail?
No, she wasn't there for years. It was only it was only a couple months that she was in jail, and then she got sent back. And then she tried. I would have stayed my ass home, but for some reason,
she was determined.
She tried a third time, and the third time she was able to make it through. And you know, she had my sister here in Chicago, and you know. They stayed after that.
Should you be talking about this?
Actually, I usually try not to. They're finna raid my mom. My mom finna get her door kicked in now because I've been talking about this shit on Boss Talk.
Man, I don't know what's going on.
Nah, but I'm telling y'all, you know, it's wrong. It's wrong.
But even then, because I have friends, right? Me being from Jamaica and stuff like that, I have friends who came here illegally, have their kids here, and you know they try to deport them, but because the kids don't have anybody to support them, they were able to be granted stay here in the United States and eventually get their citizenship because what they're gonna do with the child? They're not gonna put a child in, you know, protective custody.
Right.
So
yeah. I think it just depends. Like I think it's kind of one of those things where it's like a don't ask, don't tell specifically. So I think like as long as you're not committing crimes or doing stuff, not paying child support, they're not really gonna trip, you know, unless you're trying to doing illegal shit or whatever. But yeah, I mean, I think my mom, since she did get deported and she did serve jail time, she did get banned for 10 years and she didn't complete the ban. So now that, you know, I'm on the road, I'm making a little bit of money, I've been like trying to look into lawyers to try to fix her situation. Yeah. But everybody's kind of just shut us down. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, they gave her a 10-year ban. There's proof that she had 2 kids within that 10-year period in the U.S. So she's kind of fucked, you know, so...
Man, let me tell you something. Don't you blame me. You running your damn mouth over here.
You gotta be talking, man.
Tripping, man.
No,
you the worst.
She'll be all right.
Okay, but at the end of the day, man, I can just say, you know, you over here, I'm glad you here. Y'all, Tex-Mex is way better than that, whatever y'all doing in Chicago.
Hell
with that
no.
I'm going to just say that. I didn't want to argue with you about it, but I wanted to let you know personally. I want to wait till you get here to let you know you not really messing with no Tex-Mex when it come down to this food. And you probably ain't going to the right place. You ain't got no friends in Texas. Austin is not Texas really like that. I know your girl from Austin, but she ain't ever, is she white?
Nah, she's Mexican.
Well, it can't be.
She like the Tex-Mex stuff though.
I told told you.
Yeah, she do. I like it too, but I don't think it's better. Like LA street tacos is better than Tex-Mex.
That's what I heard.
That's a fact.
That's what I heard. I heard that. I haven't proven
Really,
it yet,
you
but I
shouldn't
heard
even be
that.
saying that you Jamaican. And at the end of the day, that messed the whole thing up. Don't never talk down on Texas with nobody.
Okay, have you been to Mexico
do that.
yet?
Yeah.
Okay, so Mexican street tacos, is that the best out of everywhere else, or?
I would say, like, the thing is, when you live in Mexico, you're not really going out to get tacos because your family's cooking that at home, right. But as far as like Los Angeles, the food trucks, the street tacos, in my opinion, those are the best ones. They're full of flavor. I don't know if it's because it's outdoors and the dirt.
You was broke, nigga. You had no money.
Too.
Your ass out there. We used to have something here. We got a Williams chicken here. The Williams chicken, they had a 2-piece dog. It was $1 and I believe $9. And the people watching this gonna know what I'm talking about. I like to die, but wasn't for that damn 2-piece. It come with 2-piece of chicken, a breast and a leg, and then they give you a biscuit with it, and that saved my life back in the day. Same thing happened with you with that damn truck out there.
Yeah, I actually had that chicken. It's real good. Ralph Barbosa put me on that
Ralph
spot.
put you on it.
Yeah.
Man, shout out to Ralph, man.
Yeah.
Ralph, where you at, baby? I'm all in your Kool-Aid. I'm in the heritage. Is this the Hispanic community?
Yeah, you tapped in.
I'm tapped in. You know what I'm saying?
So who did you get your funny bone, I would say, from? Your mom or your dad?
Both of them. My parents, you put them in the room, they just go back and forth. There's no beating them. Like they just and they just like to talk shit. Like I remember just going somewhere and then them being fake as hell, leaving the place, just talking shit for the rest of the night about that place we was at. So they just always have been running their mouth, and I think that, and then trying not to get bullied. You're a big dude, so you got to be either funny or you got to be mean or whatever. So I was just always a funny kid. I was quick on my feet, not quick on my feet for real, but but quick with my, responding to shit. Right. So I think that building that self-defense mechanism or whatever, on top of my parents just going back and forth all the time, that kind of helped me develop that funny bone in me.
But how old were you when you figured I can make this into a business? Let me go ahead and step into this career.
It was actually pretty early on, because when I was around 15, that's when YouTube had got real hot. There was a lot of people were going viral for the first time, stuff like that, and I actually made a couple videos just saying stupid shit, and one of them ended up going on World Star. So when I did that, and I saw that there was possible to generate money and to kind of talk to, reach different people that were across the country with the internet, I was like, damn, I don't even want to get a job. Because at that point, I was 15, 16, everybody's starting to get their first job.
Right.
And I was like, man, I don't want to, I was working at Little Caesars at the time. I was like, I don't want to work at Little Caesars and get recognized from YouTube and shit, and that was embarrassing at the time. So from there, I kind of knew that there was something out there that I wanted to do in entertainment. But then, I started working, drinking, you kind of fall off from being creative. And then right around maybe when I was 21, I had got a job at a bank. And at this bank, I was a teller, now I wasn't nothing special.
You don't look like no teller.
No, I know.
I'm being real.
No, I know. People definitely
Nobody's going to look at you like, oh yeah, he can be a teller. That is not happening.
Yeah. They would always wait for the girl. They'd be like, nah, we'll wait for her. We're not gonna give him no deposit. Fuck that. He gonna run off with that. But so anyway, I forgot. When I was working there was a guy who owned a comedy club called the Comedy Shrine. They're no longer in business, but
that's in Chicago.
It's in Aurora, Illinois, actually.
Okay.
And he would always tell me, hey man, you're funny. You should come to my open mic night. And one day I just went, and I didn't sign up. I just went to see, and then I kind of saw that everybody went up. I was like, this is kind of trash. I feel like it's kind of ego in you a little bit that makes you feel like you're better than them.
Right.
So I signed up, and I went up. I wouldn't say I did great, but I did well enough that I kind of got hooked on it.
You didn't get booed?
No, hell no. I did not get booed. And then I also got booked for a paid show off my first open mic. Wow. So I kind of even if I didn't want to sign up again, I kind of had to because I agreed to the booking. It was $60. I was like, $60 to talk shit. That was a lot of money to me, you know, at the time. So, yeah, and then from there, I kind of just kept the snowball effect going. And I knew every time I did a show, I had to get another booking because I didn't have a car. My license was suspended. So I had to, like, make every opportunity count because I couldn't go to open mics and hang out and network and do all that other shit. Cause
how did you get to the bookings?
I mean, like, I was,
my boy right here. Illegal to do that.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I got arrested and locked up just for driving to a show or open mic a couple times. That's why I still don't got my license now. But my boy would take me. My pops would take me sometimes. Anybody I could ask. My little sister would take me. And I'd be like, I'll fill up your tank or whatever. And I used to be broke as shit. Like, I remember going to the open mic nights and they tell you it's a 2-drink minimum. I used to just duck the waitress the whole night until I went up, and then I used to just run off and go home.
Hey, let me ask you this, man. Like, you key in on certain. I know you talk about Katt Williams. How did he inspire you, and what did you take from his, you know, just the way he was, or the way he is as a comedian?
I feel like a lot of the comedy we watch, specifically like the white comics, it always seemed like they kind of had a script, which as you get into comedy, you realize it's kind of what it is. It is a script almost. With him, even though he did have the bits, you know, it just seemed like he was just doing it on the spot. Like, it was just somebody talking, and it was seeing him sweat, be so raw, and like leave it all on that stage. Like, I was like, wow. Like, and then he was the first person to make me like laugh to a point where I couldn't like breathe, you know, just off talking, not doing no silly shit like putting on wigs and shit like that, just straight up talking, him being himself. And I was like, if I could do that, being myself, not having to pretend to be somebody else,
right,
and make somebody genuinely laugh like that, I want that, whatever he got. And then you meet you, and then obviously I did my homework, looked up different comedians, people like Patrice O'Neal.
I heard you speak on Patrice O'Neal, R.I.P.
Yeah, exactly, who are so like raw and genuine, but still hilarious. You know, it's just kind of like they just kind of pull those thoughts that we've all been thinking and just make it hilarious. You know.
Wow. I want to say. My boy Ali Siddiq is like that too. Yeah. He's the same way. I seen him here the other week. He come out every time and doing different sets, and he just talking and have a conversation. I think that's dope, man.
Yeah, somebody like that's a different type of power.
It's different
because that type of power, I don't think I could ever. I would, you know, obviously I would love to one day, but I don't think I could ever be as comfortable as he is while holding the room in silence.
Yeah.
But he's got the room at the palm of his hands, and he can make if he asks the audience to jump, they all gonna ask how high. You feel me? Like, he's got him like that, and I aspire to be like that, but that's not the type of comedy I do. But yeah, that is definitely a different type of talent. You know, is out of this world in my opinion. I like people that are different than me. You know, so like somebody who's very like mellow or can tell a long story, a 20-minute story. I admire that a lot.
I want to see, like I said, I want to see you more on YouTube, more just dropping, you know what I mean, the specials and doing the things like I'm seeing this happening. That's what's going to be the thing, I think, in years to come. I think people are going to be dropping, and you seeing it's happening. Ali Siddiq is doing it. It's a few more that you're going to see start doing it. Watch what I tell you, to where it's going to be something that everybody, you're going to have to home your own network, pretty much.
No, I think that's kind of what we do. I mean, like, you guys built this empire, yourself. So I think that's definitely the route the entertainment is going. Luckily, I was able to pick up. I did just shoot my special in Vegas with Kevin Hart's company.
What?
Yeah,
LOL Network. And
when is it coming out?
So right now, they're using mine to cut up and pitch to the networks.
Okay.
So I don't have a release date yet, but they're looking at Q1 next year, 2025. And even if it doesn't get picked up, like he said, if they put it on their YouTube, they got 4 million subscribers. Wow. So I know my work is good. I just need them to see it, you know. So, and So when that comes out, if it doesn't get on the network, I would like people would say, "Oh, I failed because it's on YouTube." But nowadays, it's like that's the way to go, almost. Right. You know,
that's where it's gonna be at eventually.
Yeah, exactly.
That stuff, I'm telling you right now, it's crazy numbers. When you start looking at the numbers, it's kicking back.
No, 100%. There's comedians that had HBO specials like in 2008, and now that they own the rights after so many years, they upload them on YouTube, and then they get a whole different type of spike to their career.
There you go.
Because people didn't have access to. I didn't have HBO growing up, you know. So
you was still in cable, nigga.
Right? Oh, well, we all had the black box. Yeah, $50 black box. Yeah.
So, when was the first time you actually met a big comedian. And who was that?
Well, I'm the biggest comedian, fattest guy.
Boy, you crazy.
No, the first time I met a big comedian, I would say that I like somebody mainstream. I was at Zany's. We were doing a showcase, and sometimes when there's famous comedians in town, they're shooting some or whatever. They'll drop in, bump everybody on the lineup, do time. Ali Wong had came in to Zany's in Chicago, and she actually went right after me, and I had a dope ass set. I wasn't really nervous because I didn't know she was there.
Okay.
Before I went up. So I went up and I killed it, and I was already happy about that. And then they tell me, oh, Ali Wong is going to go up after you. She just watched your set. So, I mean, she went up, whatever, did her thing. And then when she came off, she came straight up to me and she was like, that was a great set. And that was it. So, like, I ain't gonna lie, I'm not the biggest fan of her, but I always see her on my Netflix queue, movies and shows. So for her to tell me that, I was like, oh shit, that's dope. And that was my first actual interaction with like somebody who was mainstream. And then after that, I mean, once I moved to LA, I mean, I've toured with Fluffy now.
You toured with Fluffy?
Yeah, he done let me on his private jet.
What?
How did you meet him?
That's good stuff right there.
No, yeah, me and him, we have the same managers and agents.
Okay.
So we have the same network. So they kind of cross paths. We cross paths eventually, and he's luckily he's a guy who helps out the young comics coming up. Not a lot of people do that, so he offered me when he did Chicago, the United Center where the Bulls play. As somebody from Chicago, you do the biggest arena in your city. That's hard. That's the biggest thing you could possibly do. So he's like, oh, I want you to open up for me in your city. And you could ride with me on the jet. So yeah, I mean,
how was that jet ride, man? Let's talk about it.
I ain't gonna lie, the jet ride was more exciting than the damn show because I was like, that's like a once in a lifetime opportunity,
right.
I'm like, I Ubered to Long Beach. That's where he lives and where he flies out of, and it was a G4 jet. They've got his carpet with his logo on it. Like it's like what you see on the rapper stories and shit. Like I was like, damn, I only seen this shit on Instagram, And then just I was on the plane, like I'm grabbing snacks, I'm looking at the cabinets and shit. Like they used to that, so they just sitting down, they're taking naps. I'm walking up and down the goddamn plane. I'm in the bathroom taking pictures. So I got like 28 photos. I've been uploading every other month. People be thinking I've been flying private every other month. Hell no, that's the same one-time jet. And the crazy thing is that he ain't taking me back home. I had to fly Spirit all the way. I flew Spirit all the way back home.
Wow.
It was a downer, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You're like, what the hell is going on?
I was salt.
But did it motivated you like, man, I'm going to have one of these jets one day?
100% like motivated me. I mean, I was like, wow. Because, it's like people say like representation matters, Like with the Disney princesses, they make them, Latinos black now because people get mad. They're like, oh, it's not supposed to be like that. But it definitely does matter that you see somebody he's a fat Mexican like me. And for him to be able to fill up an arena and people, he flying private, paparazzi waiting for him when he get off the jet. Like he did this shit and he looked like me, so why can't I?
Come on, man.
That's
hard, bro.
100% motivated me. On top of that, he ain't even had to do this. At the end of the show, he brought me back on stage, told Chicago, like, this is your hometown hero. He's going to be on this stage one day. And the whole crowd lit up. They pulled out their phones. My parents was in the crowd. It was the first time.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it was the first time. And he said it in Spanish. My parents don't speak English. So he said it in Spanish to make sure they understood. And it was the first time I ever seen my pops cry, So that shit was, it was
Did
crazy.
you cry?
After I saw him, you
had to let it out.
Yeah, it kind of automatic.
You like,
Yeah.
damn, man,
Yeah.
this nigga didn't have to cry.
Yeah, because he used to take I used to do shows in Gary, Indiana. I don't know, that's where like Michael Jackson's from. Ain't shit over there. Like it's all boarded up. It's bogus.
Mike dead now. That's why.
Yeah. And when I would go there, it'd be like 4 people in the crowd. My dad would just be sitting there, and he'll be like, "What the fuck this dude doing with his life?" But I was drinking so much and doing so many other drugs before that he was just happy I was trying to find something out of, So for him to see that moment, it was definitely, it was special for both of us.
What is something that Fluffy said to you that personally inspired you?
I think when I came in the game, I was already partying a lot, and then you start getting a little bit of money. You know, I was always broke as fuck. Like, and that was by choice. Like, I could have been smarter making financial decisions, but I wasn't. So I was always living check to check. And when I came in the game and I started getting a little bit of money, nothing had changed. Like, I was making more money, but I was still living check to check because I was making more, but I was blowing more.
Right.
So the drinking picks up, the drugs, the party, everything picks up, you know? So I ended up in the hospital maybe like 6 months after started touring. So I was like, I didn't even last a year, you know, in that lifestyle. So he had got wind of it because of my managers or whatever. So he DM'd me and he told me, he's like, you have a lot of talent. You can accomplish a lot in this business, but you cannot let the distractions keep you away from that. Like, because you can have it all or you can lose it all, you know, in a matter of seconds. And I've always been a big guy, but I had never really had like health issues to where I ended up in the hospital. So that was the first time I actually felt like, oh, I am mortal. Like, I'm not immortal like I thought, you know. Right. And after that, I took everything like slow down. So I think that itself just kind of like, I needed somebody who I looked up to tell me like, hey, slow down, you know, because when people around you, especially, you know, maybe like I said, it's an ego thing perhaps, where people tell you like, hey, chill out, but you're like, hey, you don't tell me what to do. Like, you're not gonna tell me what to do, you know. And even my own parents, you'd be like, all right, but like, I respect my parents, but at the same time, it's just like, when you're young and dumb, you're like, all right, whatever, you're my parents, you're supposed to tell me to slow down. But when it's somebody you look up to and who doing what you want to be doing and got what you want, it kind of hit a little bit different, you know? So that's probably one of the things that stood out to me the most.
Wow, that's dope, man. I knew you and him being, you know, together like that, he's going to give you some jewels because he been in the game. Yeah. And that's what the OG's supposed to do. They supposed to, you know, let you know, hey, man, we got to get it done like this here, you know? So
you talk about the drugs, the alcohol. How old were you when you first started taking drugs?
I started smoking weed pretty early. I was in 5th grade, I remember.
I don't call weed drugs.
Well, it is.
I'm from Jamaica.
Well, I mean, I think it's a 5th grade age should be smoking weed.
He pre-mowing it. He putting stuff in it.
No, they weren't.
Just wasn't fentanyl, but he putting stuff in it. That's
but hard drugs though. Did you?
The thing about specifically cocaine. You know, I don't know if I can say.
You can say cocaine. Cocaine. Cocaine cost me everything. You know what I'm saying? Or cocaine made me everything. It can go either way.
Right. Yeah, well, as far as that, like the thing about coke, weed is frowned upon in the Latino community more than cocaine.
Really?
100%.
Never heard that before.
Because most Mexican parents, whatever, like the dad specifically, they go out, they drink, you know, they take a little bump. It's like very, very common, more common than most people think. So, weed, I was always in trouble with weed. Like I said, I smoked since I was in 5th grade. And then in high school is when I really started smoking. But as far as like the coke, I remember I was at a party right after high school. So I was probably only like 17 years old. And I was at one of my homeboys threw a party and he had like invited a grupo, a banda, you know. They had the music, they're partying, and I just seen somebody pull some out. And it was people that I looked up to in school, you know, like the homies or whatever. And they just did some key bumps and they're like, here, try it. And I had never tried it before, so I did it, you know, and I never felt nothing. Like the first 3 times that I did it, because I did it that time, then the following weekend. At that time, we were just drinking every weekend. It didn't matter if it was a party, no party. We'll go to somebody's garage. We're getting kicked out of people's houses because we were just drinking and do coke, you know. But then I remember the first time I actually felt something with that shit. I went to go pick up some weed from the homie, and he was in his garage, and he was cutting down lines, like big old lines on a toolbox. And I remember I was like, oh yeah, this shit, it don't affect me. Like I've never had it actually affect me. I took a fat ass line. I remember just going home. I talked to my mom for like 4 hours straight about nothing. And I was like, damn, I think I'm wired. And then from there, I've always had a very addicting personality. I'm addicted to food, you know, to stand up, and then the drugs, you know, I had to do it every weekend. I think like I used to say in the past, before I went to the hospital, I would say out of the last 5 years, I probably hadn't done coke maybe 1 or 2 weekends.
Wow.
Yeah, every weekend was a
you killing that
for
coke.
sure. Yeah, every weekend an 8-ball, and I would always be behind on my plug. So like I'm getting fronts, and then I'm hitting the other plug up when this one won't from me. I was down bad, you know. And I suppose that's why I joined. I started comedy too, because I was like, I want to get into comedy so I get away from the drugs. Then you get into comedy, you find out these motherfuckers worse than the people you was hanging out with.
So during that time, I have a question. During that time that you were doing it, did you ever have any friends who overdosed or you lost anybody from it?
Thankfully, no.
Okay.
I had a friend who destroyed his nose. He put holes all through that motherfucker.
Right, I hear that happens.
But luckily, I feel like fentanyl only kill white people, but like
no. It'll get niggas too. It'll get everybody. It'll get Hispanics. And you hit it right, and you going down.
Nah, for real. But I luckily did not know anybody that had overdosed. You know, so that never scared me. You know,
that's what I was wondering.
Yeah. And until me myself, I had my own scares because I'm a big guy already, so I got high blood pressure regardless. Mm-hmm. So the coke ain't helping at all. And then I remember one day I was doing a podcast actually as well, and I was interviewing these kids, but every time the camera, because I know when they talk, the camera finna point that way anyway. So every time they would talk, I would have them keep talking just so I could do more coke, and I was trying to do it so fast. Ooh-wee. Eventually, they were talking, they were telling me a story. I was like, all right, man, that's it for the podcast. Get the fuck out of here.
No.
Kicked them out. In the middle of the podcast, kicked them out.
Wow.
And then I was just like wired like this, and I used to live right behind in my apartment. It was right next to some train tracks, so I opened the door to get some air, and like as I was coming like down, the train started coming, and I just feel like everything starts spinning, like back of my head is hurting, and eventually I go to my room, and I was like, damn, should I go to the hospital? Like I was tweaking, and I was like, should I go to the hospital or should I just call it? And I was like, no, fuck that. If I go to the hospital, they're gonna call my parents. Like, I'd rather die before my mom come and see me in the hospital because I overdosed,
So your mom didn't know that you were taking drugs?
Yeah, my mom didn't know I was doing drugs, so I started doing podcasts talking about that shit. Yeah, like she just found out like a year. Yeah, but it is what it is.
How hard was it for you to kick it?
No, he ain't kicked it yet. Hold on, let me get into the guy. We gotta keep going. We gotta talk about the crack. Let's talk about the crack, nigga. You niggas try anything. I need to understand because I sold allegedly back in the days. But tell me, because I never done it in my life. But how was that versus doing the coke?
Well, I never
doing the line.
I never did crack on purpose. Like
you hit the primo.
No. Like nobody. Like, I think Mexicans don't really do that shit on purpose. We just buy coke, and so like 2-3 in the morning, you buying whatever is powder form. So a motherfucker trying to make a quick buck, they gonna crush down some Xanax, mix it with some crack. Yeah. So I've done crystal a couple times. I remember one time I was out here in California, and my uncle gave me some, and I didn't even know it was that, because I was hitting it, and my nose was just hurting like somebody punched me in my shit. Damn. And I was like, what is this? He's like, oh, it's kri 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 kri. And I was like, what the fuck is that? And I went on Urban Dictionary, I googled that shit, kri kri. That shit said crystal meth. I was like, hell no. I kept doing it though, because you already in it, kept doing it all night, man.
Dang, that's crazy.
Had me up for like 48 hours.
And is that what it do? It keep you up and keep you going? Because I always thought that when you snorting or whatever, that it keeps you going, and that's why people do it.
Yeah, coke. I just thought it makes you numb from society.
No.
You talking about some other shit.
I'm talking about keeping you going and keeping you up.
Yeah. Like, I think if you get good cocaine, like actual cocaine, because most of the time you ain't even buying real coke. It's just bullshit. But if you get real cocaine, baby powder shit, that cocaine make you feel good. It keep you up, but it don't get you paranoid. It's just it's just a smooth ride, and 30 minutes later it goes away, and you can go to sleep if you want to go to sleep. When you get that shit that's cut with crystal, you don't even enjoy it. You just become like paranoid. Your eyes start opening and shutting, and you're not even enjoying it because now you just think everybody's watching you. It's not a good time, but it's addicting, so you just keep doing it. You can't wait to get unhigh just to get high again.
Wow.
It's a horrible feeling, and that's why I always got everybody who's hooked on drugs or anything like that. I've always got a soft spot for addicts, because I know that shit can become addicting, and people tell you, well, just stop. It ain't that easy, especially if you're dealing with other shit, whatever. Yeah. So yeah, they definitely get my respect, and it's just.
I've met people who stopped, and they said it's really hard because sometimes they said they're walking on the street and they can smell it. I'm like, how you just smell, you know, they say, I can smell it in the air.
Yeah, a lot of times.
It ain't mine. Ain't no way. Ain't no coke in there.
Well, you know, coke is cut with, they cut it with gasoline.
That's what they smell it in.
They smell the gasoline. Like, it reminds me of the coke.
That. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, like, for me, I don't like. I do want it, but if I'm not drinking, I don't like. It's not like, oh, I need it right now. But I cannot have if I don't have no coke on me, I will not have a drink. You know, like that's how it was before.
Wow.
I couldn't I wouldn't even enjoy a beer because I'm like, no, I don't want this. The only reason I want this is to do that.
Right.
And if I didn't have that, then I didn't want that. You know, so
that's wow.
Yeah, it's
so I'm glad we didn't give you nothing to drink.
Nah,
your ass have been in here trying to tweak.
I'm chilling. I'm chilling now, man. I'm chilling.
But that's good because after you scare, you've learned how to, you know, cut back from what you were doing.
Yeah, I ended up in the hospital like 3 different times in LA, in New York, and in Chicago, I believe.
Which one was your worst scare?
I was in New York City. We had done a tour through Jersey, Philadelphia, Boston, and New York. And when we got to New York, I've always been a big guy, like I said. But when you're big, you're comfortable with, like, not comfortable, but you get used to carrying your weight around. Mm-hmm. So even though I've always been big, it's never been like so exhausting, you know. And then it started getting to a point where I'm just like, man, it feels like I'm carrying like a jug of water everywhere. I can't even walk down the hall. I put on my shoes. My socks was it was hard, like real hard. Like even coming down from the hotel to the elevator, from the elevator to the lobby to get in the Uber in the front was a mission for me. So I was like, something's got to be wrong with me. So when we get to New York, we're doing the last show out of like 13 shows. We did the whole run. We're doing the last show, and I'm on stage, and I just can't breathe. I'm drinking water because I'm thinking that's gonna calm me down, but for some reason it's just getting worse and worse. So I had bought one of those over-the-counter inhalers. It's not even like from a pharmacist. You just get it at the Walgreens, and I was hitting it thinking it was helping. It was actually making it worse. So while I was on stage, I felt like I was gonna pass out. So I told him, I was like, yo, I'm sorry, but I gotta wrap it up. Like, I don't feel good. I got off stage and I had a flight to LA the next morning, straight from New York. But I was like, man, like, I'm at a point where I feel like I'm not gonna make it through that flight. So I went to the hospital right there in Manhattan, and they sat me down. They took my blood pressure as soon as I got there, and as soon as they took my blood pressure, it was like in the movies where they shut everything down. They brought in the stretcher, the bed. They took off my shirts. They started plugging me up to all kinds of crazy stuff. And I just felt like since I was in the hospital, that was my first time back in the hospital, like as an adult or something like this. I felt like almost relieved because I'm like, all right, they're gonna help me.
They're gonna help you.
They started doing X-rays, and then I told them what inhaler I was using, but I didn't know what was wrong. And they told me, they were like, oh, you have congestive heart failure. So your body is retaining liquid. So you drinking like I was still drinking 13, 14 beers a night, or tequila, Crown, whatever. But I'm not peeing anymore because my kidney was not functioning well because of the heart failure. So I was just built, like my stomach was like super bloated. My face was just like stupid bloated. It was just all the alcohol. So they gave me like diuretics, Lasix.
To flush your system.
So I could I mean, I peed like maybe like 4 or 5 gallons, you know? And after that, they gave me stuff to open up my lungs. And I just felt like 10 times better when I was in the hospital. The only problem is that when I was about to, I felt like lighter. They saved my life. They literally saved my life. But this is how stupid and dumb I am. Ralph Barbosa, my homie,
shout out to Ralph.
He came to visit me that last day. One of the days I was in the hospital, and he tells me, he's like, "Hey, bro, I hope you get better." And he's like, "Just so you know, me and Dave Chappelle are gonna do a little pop-up show at the Stand in New York. If you leave the hospital on time, you could come kick it with us." Bro, I'm a comedian, you know? So when he left, I called a nurse. I signed myself out. I didn't take no medication. I just walked out because I felt better.
Wow.
So then that night, Dave Chappelle ended up canceling, so I didn't even get to meet him.
Wow.
And then I didn't take my medicine. So from there, I flew to Chicago because I had like 5 shows. I partied because I was home, partied with all my homies. Then from Chicago, I went to Miami because I had 5 more shows there. Partied all up in Miami. By the time I got back to LA, I had to go to the hospital again because I was even worse. And then at that hospital in LA, they told me, they're like, "You're 27 and I got a patient that's 80 something next to you, and his heart is 10 times better than yours. Your heart's working at like a 15%. He's like, you're gonna die if you don't get your shit together." And I was telling him, I was like, yo, I'm getting it together. Like, I'm not partying no more. I'm not doing coke. I'm not doing, but I had I was doing so much coke that I still had coke in my nose. He's looking at me like, I can see it in your nose right now. So it was embarrassing. And that kind of, like, it took me a lot, but to finally realize, like, all right, like, I need to get my shit together. Especially like if because I used to lose my voice because like my lungs would be so messed up, I couldn't even do my job. So I was like, if I can't talk, then it's no good, you know. So everything started to slow down after that, and that was kind of what did it for me.
Wow. And being a mother, I can imagine, how has this affected your mom?
My mom don't know.
None of that.
She do now.
My mom
Shout out to his mom, you know what I mean?
My mom don't speak English, so hopefully she'll understand.
Give me a translator now. My app gonna translate this, man.
My mom, she didn't know for a long time until I finally told her when I was better. I was like, you know what, just so you know, this and this happened. I'm on these medications possibly for the foreseeable future. But I just want to fill you in. So, I mean, you know, it kind of was all at once because then she found out about the drug use, the partying, then the sickness. Like, she found out about everything at the same time. So it was a lot for her, but, you know, she understands now, and she just tells me, you know, God bless you and take care of yourself. I mean, we're all adults, so.
Wow.
You know.
I want to go back into the comedy, man. I want to talk about just the fact of how you basically, it's Ralph Barbosa. How many Hispanic younger guys is it that's in the game that you can think of?
I mean, as far as like my top 5 or whatever, I know, you know, it's Rene Vaca. He's the guy who put me in the game. I always say Ralph Barbosa, you know, who I believe is one of the hottest, if not the hottest.
Oh, he's hot.
He's the hottest, not just amongst Latinos. He's the hottest.
He's hot, period.
Everybody, yeah. Of course, we got Concrete, you know, people like Dunos. So there's a lot of
Hispanic.
Yeah, specific, and then in LA specifically, because there's people that are from LA that are comics now. There are people that were influencers that are becoming comics now, or podcasters like Duno, who did No Jumper, Concrete, who does skits, and now he's into comedy, and they're killing it. You know, they're doing a good job. They're selling tickets. Concrete's actually in Dallas too right now, so we're actually competing with the market. But it's cool, you know, because there's enough money and people for everybody to eat. So it's way different than what it was before, because you hear those stories about back in the day, like George Lopez, like, because George Lopez don't like Fluffy, and Fluffy don't like this guy, and because it was so little opportunity, because everybody's waiting to come get picked up by a network. Like, you couldn't do nothing by yourself. Now you don't need nobody. So it's like, I'll take this camera, take it to the club tonight, chop it up, and go viral. You know.
That's right.
So you don't really need them anymore. So why would I be in competition with you when we could both build our platforms, you know? So now, there's a lot. I can't name them all because there's so many of them.
I just asked because I know they're out there. I only know Ralph because Ralph is in Dallas. He from here, and it's funny how I even linked up with Ralph. That's crazy how it happened. But at any rate, it's just to see you guys flourishing and doing the things that y'all doing, man, is incredible. And I love it coming from a young perspective. And when you look at, you know, a lot of comedians, you think about it, it's an internet comedians, you know, that basically started out on the internet. You guys still doing it the traditional way, going out and doing the shows and stuff, and I think that's what make you guys different. And also it affords you a respect that a lot of other ones don't get from going in all those back, you know, those back. How bad is it been? When is the worst? What's the worst comedy club that you hit? You ain't gotta say no name, nigga, but the one that basically you like, God dang, man.
Shit, I mean, the good thing about when you funny. Like, it don't matter who you performing in front of, it's gonna work out because eventually you're gonna crack them. But I mean, as far as like when I was starting off, like I said, Gary, Indiana, it was bad. And shout out to them because they always show me love. But I mean, it was bad. You know?
Was bad.
Yeah. And then as far as like now, like what I consider a bad club.
That's good.
What I would consider a bad club is just maybe like the service, you know. But I mean, I don't know, man. I think everywhere I've gone, you know, because of the following we've been able to build, it's always gonna be your people there. So even if the green room is shitty, even if the service is bad, once you up there with your people, you having fun, you forget about all that, man.
What was it like meeting Mario Lopez?
It was cool because, You know, this is the guy you see every
Saved by the Bell and all
Pretty
that.
boy, pretty boy.
Saved by the Bell.
Real pretty.
And then, I mean, as far as like, we check into hotels every weekend. Every time I walk in the hotel, he's on the screen, you know? On the plane, he's on the TV. He's everywhere I look. So I got hired to do this music video with the Coyotes. Shout out to Coyotes on the West Coast, rappers. And they had Mario Lopez in it and Concrete as well. And I mean, he was real humble, real cool. He's just one of those guys that like a movie star where you see him and they just like glowing, you know, like oh, you could tell he's different. Like he's got the star power. And I mean, shit, he looked just how he looked on the line. Like he
pretty boy.
Wow. Yeah. Like and he was.
Abs.
I feel like he was changing in front of us on purpose. He was taking his shirt off, all ripped up and shit. We actually just did. I was actually just with him on Thursday.
Oh really?
Yeah, we did a show at the Laugh Factory in Hollywood, and he picked out his favorite comics, and you know, he had a private event for his people. It was a fun time.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you do your history, man? Because you know I'm an old dude. Do you know who Richard Maureen is, the one that played Cheech?
Yeah.
You know, I'm going back to the old comedy. Y'all gotta do y'all homework.
No, I know Cheech Chong. I know Cheech Chong.
The only reason I know it because I used to see it. I think about how funny it was watching them get high in that car. You remember? Y'all were too young. Y'all wasn't watching
the fur
that.
car. Yeah, I remember.
I mean, I think about, like I said, you guys got a whole different ball game. And Fluffy would be the one that's the biggest one, right?
Yeah.
Right now, like George, of course, he did the acting and all that stuff. George Lopez, shout out to George Lopez for sharing my stuff too. He shared Boss Talk. Gotta say that, man. Thank you so much. But at the end of the day, like when you look at Fluffy filling those arenas up, that's a whole different ball game, man. Ain't no everybody doing that, bro.
Nah. And then then everybody could do it like once or twice, but to do it as long as he's done it for like 10 years doing arenas, I mean, not only the bag right, but just you built a legacy. You know, is one of the greatest of all times. And I mean, I'm glad to have him in my corner, as well as Joe Coy. He also does arenas, and he's also. Me and him are very close, and he's a mentor of mine. He likes me a lot. So, you know, to have some of the biggest names be, you know, on my side and helping me out, it means a lot to me. So, and they definitely inspire me. So I mean, obviously everybody's dreams is to be like that one day. But I lived a life, I feel like, where I was at some of my lowest, like pawning, stealing from my family, pawning shit. So just to be able to be where I'm at now, just selling out, you know, weekends at a comedy club or one-nighters at a comedy club, and be able to make a okay living, I think I'm way farther than I ever thought I was going to be. So I am grateful for the position I'm in now. But I mean, shit, why not strive for better, you know? So I'm going to keep working, and I mean...
You going to get into films? Yeah. Would you want to go further and all that? I'm gonna do it more, and we gonna get into some films.
The thing is that I feel like I started doing comedy because I didn't want a job. I got a real problem with people telling me like what to do. So like I felt like doing movies and acting, even that video we did with Mario Lopez, just that I was in like a 30-second scene. It took like all day just to film that. And so you got people telling you, no, do it this way or do it that way. And I hate being tedious with shit or saying the same shit over and over. So I just don't like that. Like that's not what I want to do, you know? I do understand that sometimes that's what it takes.
You would be great at it. People tell you that, don't they?
Yeah, they do tell me that.
You could do it.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess I do want to look into it though. I mean, I'm not gonna stop myself just because I don't want to do something, you know. So I'll learn and hopefully I get something in the future. But for me right now is the comedy, the stand up, like the raw stand up is what I love. That's my passion, you know.
How important is God in your life?
Man, I used to. My faith changed a lot, you know, after specifically, you know, those health scares and stuff like that. I grew up in a household where like my dad was one of those people that was like, oh, why would I go to church, or I'm drinking and doing bullshit all week. Why would I pretend to be somebody I'm not? And then my mom, she kind of was was not really too religious, but when I was growing up, like I said, I was kind of like a problem child. So she didn't want my brother and my sister to be like that. So they had a small Catholic church with like maybe 40 students close to our house. So she put them in the Catholic church. So they my brother and sister grew up like Catholic because of their school. They had to go to mass. They had to do all the church stuff. So my family, specifically my siblings and my mom, have always been very Catholic. My dad is not religious at all. I always stood in the middle, you know. I was very like a hypocrite, you know. I only talked to God when I felt like I needed something, you know. And then when I feel like I would always make false promises. I would never hold up my end of the deal. You know, sometimes I'll be like, oh God, if you help me out with this situation, you know, I'll stop doing cocaine or whatever. And then no, you just
never stop.
You never stop. You get what you want, and then you go right back to lying and all that. Until recently, when I think again being in the hospital and realizing how lucky I was. That's why I say I'm grateful for where I'm at now. Just because it's like, oh shit, you can lose all this in the snap of a fingers or whatever. So I feel like he's definitely in my life more now. I do find myself sometimes, you know, my eyes closed, whether I'm in a hotel room or at home, just kind of thanking God for everything. And I do hope that I get closer, you know, to him as the time goes on and whatnot. But I also, like, in a way, I still got my dad in me where I'm like, I don't want to be a hypocrite because I know I'm out here half-stepping, you know, bullshitting on the side. So I don't know, you know.
Let me just be real with you, man. He always meet you where you at. I never ever, you know, seen, if it's me, I'm not perfect anyway. So I believe in Jesus. So at the end of the day, it's what he done, not what I do. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So every day I get up to fight to be a better individual, but I'm still going to be, you know, I'm going to make those mistakes. Yeah. So when you look at it from that perspective, it ain't nothing you could do to prepare yourself to be this perfect person that you may be envisioning. So don't ever get caught up with it like that. Just always turn to him. Yeah. That's what I would say. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and at the end of the day, no matter what you do, I always give him a shout because he love you no matter where you at. Yeah. Ain't nobody, them people that false looking like they doing way more than what they doing and they way closer, boy, you closer than them. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Don't think about that. It be some fictitious people out here trying to make you feel like they just right with you. You like, I don't even know him. Yeah. I'm with you.
Yeah. But you have any kids?
No kids. Not
yet, but he got a tattoo I want to talk about. I didn't get to see it yet. What is the name on that?
Talia.
Let's talk about it, man. I mean, you got your tattoo.
Yeah.
She tricked you because she didn't give her the initials, nigga. Yeah. I heard about it. Let's talk about it. She wasn't that drunk. You know what I'm saying?
I was in Texas, actually in Austin, and I was featuring for my homie Renee Vaca at Vulcan.
How long ago was this?
This is April of last year, 2023.
That's when you met her?
That's when I met her the first time. She didn't even get to watch me perform because they got there late. So after the show, my boy's kicking it with her homegirl, and I'm kind of just like the wingman, I guess. So we talking to each other, and we ended up hitting it off. We ended up going home that night to the Airbnb, but she was so drunk, she knocked out. You know, I let her be, whatever. And then we went home the next day back to LA. So when I came back to headline the club myself in October of 2023, I kept like teasing her, you know, before I had gone, like, oh, you gonna come see me? And then when it was getting closer to showtime, I stopped hitting her up. I think I got scared or something. And then she hit me up. She's like, yo, I'm gonna pull up. I was like, all right, bet. So she pulled up. We kicked it that night. And then she came late. She ain't even watched me perform again. Didn't miss the show. I did the whole meet and greet. She got there after I got done. I guess she said she got there like in the middle of the show, but they wouldn't let her in no more because the show had started, whatever. But anyway, so she didn't see me perform again. Then we kicked it that night. Then my flight was the next day, but we was all lovey-dovey. I was like, I'll push my flight back if we kick it tomorrow too. She's like, all right, bet. So I pushed my flight back. We kicked it the next night, and then that night I was like, you know what? Let's just go back to LA and for the weekend. And she's like, all right, fuck it. So I flew her out, and I flew her friend out too, just because I was like, I want you to feel comfortable. So flew them to LA, and we kicked it that weekend. And then she went back home for like maybe 3 weeks because we had Thanksgiving coming up. For Thanksgiving, she came back. So that was the next month, so October, November. And when she came to visit me for Thanksgiving, she never went back.
So y'all still together now?
Still together now. She's in the hotel room now.
Let me just say this while I got you in there. Me and my wife met in 4 months, got married, and been together for 22 years. So it can work. So don't even trip. Don't go by what everybody else doing, because that'll mess you up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And then, that same weekend we was in LA when she visited me the first time, we went and got this tattoo. I got her name. She got my initials, but I was supposed to get the initials too, but I was like, nah, I want the whole name. But I mean, I don't regret it to this day. You know, I love her.
What's up with this tattoo right here? What does that stand for?
630.
That's a game.
No,
I know.
my
game.
weight is
630.
No.
Nah, it's the area code of Aurora, Illinois, where I'm from.
That's hard.
Yeah. And then 96 right here, just because I was dumb and drunk, I just got my date of birth. In case
So why you decide to put them on your face?
I don't know.
I can never get over that.
Well, because I feel like it looked cool. Like, that's literally it. I was like, damn. But then I got on one side. But then the people that see me from this side, they're not gonna know I'm cool. So I had to put something right here. So now no matter what angle you get,
Hey. Let me. I gotta get you out of here, but I want to ask you about we talked about it briefly earlier. Lil Durk, man, he definitely they hit him and they hit him hard. You know what I'm saying? You from Chicago. How is this gang culture like that? Like, can it ever stop? I'm friends with a lot of people, man. Larry Hoover Jr. I be on the South Side. I be in Chicago. I'm one of them guys. You know, I be on the West Side. You know what I'm saying? On the North Side, it seemed a little sweet. That's where I seen Kanye partner had a shop. Steve Madden, them little old shop. It's a little old spot where they, you know, where you can go shopping, and it seems real. It seems like the nicest shopping in this place in Chicago, actually. But when I went on the South Side, it was 30, 40 niggas standing in front of the stores, man. You know what I'm saying? So tell me, like, how is that environment, and what did you think when you seen that? Is this something you kind of know that it can happen in Chicago like that?
I think the thing is though is like this shit, like most of these kids that are on the street killing themselves, they don't even know what the fuck they killing themselves over. It's just that they know, like, oh, my cousin, my big homie said fuck them, so it's fuck them, and that's it, you know? Wow. The North Side, it's not as sweet as people. There's downtown, don't get me wrong, of course, but even that is not sweet. FBG Doug got killed in Gold Coast in front of Dolce and Gabbana. You know, that's like the Rodeo Drive of Chicago. So I mean, even up there, it ain't sweet. But in the North Side, specifically in Humboldt Park, you know, places like Bucktown, they used to be real. The Puerto Ricans and the Mexicans used to go at it and still go at it. That's where like the Latin Kings originated. Okay. So I mean, it's definitely they
can get it popping.
No, it gets popping, and it was actually, I think, more active than the South Side for a long time.
Really?
We definitely 100%. Like I said, as the late 2000s started coming around, the white people started getting in there, gentrifying everything. Yeah. And it's changed a lot, you know, for the better in some ways, and I mean in other ways for the worse, you know. But as far as the crime, it definitely has gone down. And then as far as the South Side goes, the South Side of Chicago, I feel like it's a very, if you've been, I mean, like you say, you've been there, you can tell. It almost seems like they put a filter over that shit. Like it looked darker. The buildings look older, and unfortunately, I don't know if they just don't got the resources. I mean, you know, the government, they corrupt, especially in Chicago, they corrupt. But those kids, like they become like trigger happy just because everybody's doing it. It's just something that everybody's doing, so they do it too, and they don't think about the consequences. Like, I think that we grow up so fast, like we're just like fuck it, and then next thing you know, when you're stuck in a jam, you're like, damn, like, this shit is for real, like it's for life. And I think a lot of the time, the problem in Chicago is that it happens so much that people do get caught with guns and get released. So people think it's sweet, and then finally when the time comes and you actually get caught up for a body or something, then you got to do 40 years. That's when you face the reality. And a lot of these kids, they're all under 21, so they're like, I'm thinking about myself when I was under 21. I didn't know right from wrong. Like, you know a little bit, but you still don't have that like adult mentality to tell you like, don't do that. So then you don't realize until you're locked up, you're like, fuck, like I threw my whole life away for this shit, and it don't even mean nothing, So I would love for it to stop one day, but again, like, this is like, if somebody, you can, if you from the outside looking in, we can all say like, stop the violence, whatever, right? But if somebody that lives 4 houses down killed my best friend, and I see them again, like, it's not gonna be sweet. Like, it's different. Like, you can't tell these people how to feel when they're the one that's been living through this and like literally having to go through it. There's kids, like 12-year-old kids that my homie died in my arms. Like kids. Yeah. I can't imagine like my little brother getting like in a car accident. So imagine these kids like getting shot at. It's crazy. But I mean, yeah, I hope that one day, it calms down and shit changes, you know. But I don't have the solution or the answers for how that can happen.
Still bad? Old Block, is it still?
I ain't never been over there, but I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah, but I mean, do you hear anything bad coming from over there still?
Yeah, of course, 100%.
You see what I'm saying? Because I know you ain't going over there. That ain't your hood.
No. I went over there one time. I went over there one time to go to exclusive 773 at Steve's store down south. That's where like when Chief Keef and Lil Durk first started popping off, when they had like the Glory Boys merch, the OTF, the first ever OTF merch, all got made in that shop.
Wow.
So I wanted to go there to get my own OTF hoodie, like made from the guy that make Durk shit. And I went and got it, but I mean, just being there, like everybody
got out.
Could you feel it? Could you feel the energy?
Oh, 100%.
You knew it was there.
100%. And I met. I don't know if y'all remember Lincoln Two Step. He used to be the guy that used to dress up as Santa Claus. He used to be like, "What you want, some pussy or something?" I met him that night, right outside there. But yeah, you get in and you get out. Police don't even roll through that motherfucker.
Nobody ain't going over there. Old Block is on fire.
But the crazy thing about Chicago, what I can't understand is that we see a lot of TV shows come out of Chicago, a lot of movies. People film a lot in Chicago, but yet Chicago have so much violence and crazy stuff that happen. How is it possible for them to be doing all of that?
I mean, like they're gonna shut down the street though. You know, like they're not gonna like film in the middle of the hood. You know, they know where they go. They'll go to someplace safe that looks.
It still looks like the hood.
It looks run down, but it's not
actually
right. And then they'll shut the street down. They got police there. Like, I mean, that's how they shoot music videos and stuff like that. The cops shut all that shit down.
You got Kanye, you got Twister, you got Do or Die, you got all these different people that these rappers that I think are the older rappers. Then
that
you
come
got
out of
Dirt,
Chicago.
You got Chief Keef, you got so many different people from up there, man. Then y'all out there with the comedy, man. Godfrey from out there. There's a lot of people from out there, bruh.
Shout out Godfrey.
Shout out Godfrey,
man.
man.
I was just with him on Monday.
Really?
Yeah,
that's
in New
crazy.
York. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Him and Craig Robinson. He's from Chicago too.
That's hard, man. Like,
we met Craig Robinson.
Yeah, we did.
At the hotel.
Yeah, we do shows together maybe like 4 times a week.
Really? Y'all, Craig Robinson, quit trying to act like you can't come on Boss Talk like you don't do interviews. Let me check that right quick. We still got you, homie. You know what I'm saying? I love Craig, man. I mess with him bad at that hotel though up in Chicago. I was giving him hell all the time. No, you gonna figure it out. We ain't going nowhere. Yeah. But no, man, thank you so much. Did you get everything?
Yeah.
Man, I just want to say thank you for coming on the show. How can people get a hold of you?
You get a hold of me, Instagram, or all my handles is Ken Flores 300. Ken Flores 300 on Instagram, TikTok, everything you need, man. You just DM me whatever y'all need, man.
And if you want to borrow some money, you call him up, okay?
Yeah, right.
Check it, man. Another great segment of Boss Talk 101. Thank you. We love you, bro.
Thank y'all, man. Appreciate
Where the
you.
bosses talk.
And we out.